Let's say your Shopify brand just had its best month ever. You might think the hard part is over, but in reality, this is a point where most brands make a mistake that just kills their momentum. Today, I'll show you the biggest mistake Shopify brands make after their first good month, as well as what I would focus instead if I wanted to keep growing. Now, what is even a good month? So a good month can mean many different things, just to list a few: record revenue, strong growth spike, best month in a long time. Basically anything that signals a really good performance compared to the previous periods, whether that's conversion rates, whether that's just bare revenue at the end of the month, or also engagement metrics. Now, most brands don't know what to do next, and in their minds, they just think, let's just simply keep doing more of the same stuff because, never change a running system, right? Now, in order to explain the problem behind this conclusion, we just want to focus on the current state. So what even brought you here? It will be one of those things, or hopefully more than one of those things. So either outbound paid ads, organic social media, new product launches, events and promos. To sum it up, basically everything that draws attention to your brand, introduces something new and interesting about your brand, or just incentivizes people to buy more or to simply make their first purchase in the first place. Now, the mistake that many brands then make is putting 100% of the focus on acquisition. So more ads, more creators, UGC creators, for example, more outbound channels, more spending, just doubling down on advertising on social media in order to get more and more people on your website. So inherently, there's nothing really wrong with this, but the real problem is neglecting retention because, of course, you have outbound, but then you also have retention. Those systems should just work together because you could either attract a lot of people and they just go and leave, and you're just attracting new people. But on the other hand, if you were to just focus on retention, you would have a strong system for keeping people, but you wouldn't have any people coming to you. Now, the reason why neglecting retention becomes dangerous is that you get a lot of growth spikes and they bring in lots of new visitors, lots of new customers, basically. But most brands, when they neglect retention, they never really build systems to keep those customers. So you have a lot of customers coming to your website, purchasing from you first time, maybe even second time, but you don't really have a retention engine for getting new customers through those retention channels, but also keeping the kind of VIP customers, the kind of loyal customers, and having them purchase more and more from you. So the usual pattern we can then see is that customers purchase once and they just disappear forever, because the general rule of thumb is when a customer purchases a second time, they're way more likely to purchase a third time. Most customers will purchase once and then just forget about your brand. Now, the stuff that should happen instead is a two-lane approach. So you should definitely continue investing into acquisition and definitely drive traffic to your website and drive new first-time purchases. But also you should start investing into retention or continue investing into retention if you're already doing it. I already made a separate slide for this. You need both. You need to drive both channels in order to succeed. Since I'm an email marketing and retention expert, I can tell you a lot of stuff about retention and email marketing in general. But also in this video today, I will cover a bit of paid ads, a bit of outbound, but of course, always take my word with a grain of salt because retention is really where I live, and I can tell you a lot about retention here. So today's video will really focus on how to not neglect retention and how to run proper retention for your e-com brand when you're scaling. You can already see it really bold and really big. Focus area number one is email marketing, of course. Now, many people think email marketing is way more complicated than it actually is, because yes, you can get really complicated and you can really go into detail and start segmenting for a lot of things. If you really do it right and if you really have a broader spectrum and a broader view, email marketing is really easy. It is really about nailing the fundamentals. Here is what you should definitely do. Capture more subscribers, so optimize your sign-up form, build the core flows, and then send campaigns consistently, 3 or 4 campaigns per week. And this way you can already create a lot of repeat purchases, because these are the fundamentals, and everything that you do on top of that is really just the nitty-gritty stuff. But don't get too caught up in the stuff when you're kind of just starting out. Focus area number 2 for not neglecting retention is nailing the customer experience. So the customer experience is all about reducing buyer's remorse, improving the post-purchase experience. So when people have a problem, that they're not just left alone with it because, we shipped the product and they'll need to deal with the problem themselves. No, we don't want that to happen. And then also you want to give customers reasons to come back, because after all, the whole purpose behind customer experience, behind nailing customer experience, is that people have such a great experience, had such a great time with your product and with your brand overall, that they just decide to come back over and over again. And one big thing in order to nail the customer experience, of course, is to nail the customer service. For now, let's just cover the focus area number 3, which is loyalty. Loyalty is all about rewarding repeat customers and building habits to come back and to refer people to your brand. And also loyalty is all about increasing customer lifetime value. After all, one great thing to do that is to have a loyalty program for your brand. Now, the mindset shift you really want to focus on is to stop asking, how do we get more customers? How do we get more people on our website? How do we drive more traffic and more attention? But rather, you should start asking as well, how do I keep the customers that I already have? Because when you keep the customers that you attracted with outbound, you just have a way bigger base. You have a way bigger foundation that you can then build onto with outbound. Because yes, acquisition creates momentum, it creates attention, but retention creates stability. It creates a good foundation every single month of revenue coming in that you can build onto. Brands that grow the fastest usually invest in both at the same time. Now, the key takeaway from all of this is you can't scale when you only focus on acquiring new customers, because those customers will just slip through your brand. Yes, you get them once, but you don't have a net to catch them. It's like fish in a fishing net or something. I don't have a better metaphor here. But you also want to focus on building retention systems that keep new customers for longer, which is what I already told you. You should not just focus on driving more traffic, getting more people, but also retaining them. Because one well-trained customer probably equals around 5 one-time buyers. Now, if you want to go into detail on e-commerce retention and learn this topic in depth, you can click this playlist right here.